All right, welcome everybody to the All About Nothing podcast kind of daily show. Is it jolting when I come back like that, Bill? Do I need to give you more warning?
No, you're fine.
Okay. This is Bill Kemmler across social media as Political Bill SC. I am Barrett Gruber at Barrett Gruber. Bill is a happy Eagles fan. Is this a new hat? Did you get a new hat for the game?
Yep. Championship hat.
Okay, all right. Well, it looks good on you. How I did allude a little bit to the weekend that you had, but I didn't give any details. So, Bill, would you like to let us know how your Eagle Championship Super Bowl weekend was?
Listen, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. So my family is based just outside of Philadelphia, on the New Jersey side, just across the Delaware River. Um, I was born and raised a Philadelphia Eagles fan. It's in the family going back generations. So we're one of those obnoxious, Eagles chanting families, but it's a bonding thing. I don't come from a particularly close family, but the Eagles, man, we are the closest as you can get. So I live in South Carolina. I started a trip on Saturday up to my brother's house where we were going to have a big Super Bowl party. So I'm traveling along I-81 in somewhere Virginia, and my engine banged. The dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree. Every light came on, lights I didn't even know existed. There was a skull and crossbones light on my dashboard I didn't even know was there. It lit up. I was able to maneuver my car off to the side of the road, and it was just clanking around like metal pieces were flying everywhere. Smoke was coming from the engine. I was dead. Like, this wasn't flat tire dead. This wasn't out of gas dead. This was dead, dead. So this is around 5:30 on Saturday afternoon, and I had just hit like 350 miles into my travel. So I'm pretty far from home.
Yeah.
What's the thing that you would do in that situation? As a grown adult, what's the next thing you do?
So you're saying my vehicle breaks down, I'm on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I call tow service or I call
No,
my insurance.
that's the second thing you do. First thing you do is you post about it on social media. So I got that out of the way. I mean, I had to take pictures. I had to document my plight, and
Mm.
then bemoan about it, and then like all the comments. So I did that for about 3 hours. Then then I called insurance. So let me tell you, farmers insurance is the worst. I'm going to go on record now.
All right.
Farmers is the worst. And I've had disabled vehicles before. You call for roadside assistance, they find the tow truck in the area. You go through the motions, and a
Sure.
couple hours later you're wherever you need to be. Farmers abandoned me on the side of the road. The first lady I called, walked me through the steps. Oh, no, first they put you on a mobile app, key in all your information, policy number. I was like, okay, it's modern age. I'm keying it all in. Barrett, I got to the last screen where they said, great, we got all your info. Now tell us, where you are. Are you in your vehicle? Do you have your keys?
Are you
Point out
safe? Yeah.
on the map where you are. And then the last text box is enter in the nearest exit or mile marker or something else, right? So I type in exit 180. The next button never enabled. Like, there was nothing I could do on this screen to get the next button off gray and to complete that process. And here I am now. It's getting dark. There's no heat in my car, and it's getting cold. And I'm shivering on my phone with no next button. Like, this was a complete ITQA failure. So I get on the phone.
Should the process have started earlier? Maybe eliminating some of the social media
No,
posting.
no, no,
Okay.
no,
Oh, that
no.
was
Don't bring that.
necessary. Okay.
It's not, Barrett, you're distracting the story. So I get on the phone with farmers, get on the phone with a nice lady. She says, oh, yeah, we see your information here, and then sends me a link, which pulled up a map, which pin dropped where I was. And I was like, okay, yep, this is exactly where I am. She's like, great. We'll find you a nearby tow truck. We'll have somebody out to you. So Wouldn't you know, like a half hour later, I get the text saying a tow service has been dispatched and will pick you up on I-295 in Mechanicsville. I was like, the and I looked it up on the map. That's 3 hours away. Like all this effort I went through to pin drop where I am on the map, and they sent a dispatch to some random highway 3 hours away. And this was after me confirming with her on the phone exactly where I am.
Right.
So I call back, and now the call service has shifted overseas. So now I'm talking to an Indian call center who knows nothing about America, I-95s, I-85s, I-81s. And I'm trying to explain, listen, they got me to the wrong spot. A dispatch, a tow truck is heading somewhere where I'm not. We have to cancel that. And they were not getting what I'm trying to tell them. They're like, they were just reading off the script, right? They could not deviate off the script and have a conversation. So about 30 minutes into this call with this Indian service center, and they tried to locate me on the map, she says, I'm going to put you on hold and transfer you. I was like, okay.
Hmm.
And I was on hold for 20 minutes, just listening to the music, just listening to the music. So I had to hang up, and I personally called that tow company that was dispatched
Yeah.
to say, they effed up. Don't come get me. And the
That's
guy was
crazy.
grateful. He's like, "Oh, appreciate you not wasting my time.
Yeah.
God bless you. Good luck to you." And I call Farmers again. I'm in hour three of trying to get roadside assistance, and it's really starting to get cold, and I'm miserable. I got a third person, and she seemed to get my location down properly. I had to go through everything again, and she says, "Okay, we will try to get a dispatch out to you." So, all right, I wait. And I start getting text messages every 20 minutes. Sorry, we're having no luck finding you a tow service. We'll keep trying. So now an hour has gone by. It is almost 10 p.m. And
Saturday
in
night.
Barry,
We're still
Saturday
Saturday night.
night,
Yeah.
side of the highway, flashes on, no heat in the car. It is now 35 degrees outside. And I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like this is cow country. Even cows are like, "Where's civilization?" These are wild cows. I mean, not even a farm. These are wild cows. So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna
That's
call an
Kevin
Uber."
Costner's favorite, by the way, just so everybody knows. Kevin Costner's favorite are the wild cows.
Yeah. So I don't know how you know that, but okay.
I saw a commercial.
Okay. Thank you for enlightening this story with that factoid. All right, that's made all the difference. You took
Yeah.
a boring story and made it really interesting. So
See
thanks.
Yellowstone Sunday at 8 on Paramount.
I plan to watch that, by the way.
It's good.
I've been the entire series. I haven't seen it yet, but I
Yeah.
plan to watch it. Anyhow, back on track.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I got to get out of here. I'm going to abandon my car. There's a little motel just a couple miles away. There's no Uber. There's no Lyft. There's no nothing. I started Googling cab companies. There's nothing. All the numbers on the yellow pages that I got up online, every last number was no longer in service. Barrett, I'm stranded on the side of the freaking road.
That's insane.
And I'm not about to walk on the highway in the dark, right? In the middle of nowhere. Like it's cloudy, not even the moon is out. So I did have a blessing. I called the little motel where I had booked a room while shivering in the cold, thinking I would get to this motel. And I said, "Listen, man, you got any tips on how to?" I'm thinking maybe the hotel manager could come get me.
Yeah.
I'm like praying at this point. He actually gave me four numbers to try. The first number was dead. The second number was a lady named Patty who does Uber and Lyft, but she doesn't publicize it because she doesn't want to work, or she wants to work only when she wants to work. She doesn't go on duty.
Sure.
But I explained to her that I was near death on the side of the road, and Patty and her daughter in the passenger seat came and got me, literally drove me a mile and a half up the road, dropped me off at the cheapest damn hotel I've ever been at in my life. But it was a bed, it had a shower, and it was warm. That's all I cared about.
That's fair. And you said you were you near Harrisonburg? Where was this?
No, there's a town called Natural Bridge, Virginia.
I gotta look this up. Natural. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna look that up while you continue
It's
your.
about 40 miles north of Roanoke.
Okay, I see it. I see it. It's pretty.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was the most beautiful place in the world if you have a car.
Yeah. Just to the northwest of Lynchburg. You know, it's
So I get checked in. Oh, so I show up at the Relax Inn after having booked it. I get into this little motel, and when you know it, there's a sign on the front door that says, "We are not available at this time." Please. But it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm shivering cold. I'm near collapse from exhaustion. I haven't had a food or drink in half a day. And I get a sign, handwritten, says, "Sorry, we're not here at this time." And they give a number to call. Anyhow, so I call the number. The guy comes flying in 15, 20 minutes later. I get checked in and I go to bed. So I'm getting sleep. And then Farmers Insurance decides to call me every 2 hours throughout the night to let me know they still can't find tow service. Like, why I need that information at 2 a.m., at 4 a.m., at 6 a.m. is beyond me. And it was an automated
yeah.
message. It wasn't like it was a human being. It was, "Hello, this is Farmers at 2 freaking a.m. letting you know we suck and can't find anybody to tow your car. We'll keep you posted." And that happened all night long. So
Yeah,
now it's Sunday.
you really want the call that says, "Okay, the situation has changed. We're on our way."
Yeah,
Like you don't need the updates between saying the same exact thing.
yeah. So much more happened. So the long and short of it, I ended up watching the Super Bowl from that dirty ass motel, and it was fine. Because the outcome was the outcome, and ever since the victory, life was sweeter, no
Sure.
matter the situation. And believe me, I'm seeing pictures of fans in hospital beds with thumbs up, trying to watch the game. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not in the hospital bed.
It wouldn't be an
Uh,
Eagles
so
fan if it wouldn't be an Eagles fan if someone didn't die. That's just the way
yeah,
that's the way I look at Eagles
yeah.
fans.
Thanks.
It's
I almost died, so but
but
thank you.
they burned what was it, the when they won the NFC championship, a guy climbed a light pole some 25 feet up into the air and fell out of the light pole and died, and like
It was a 19-year-old
yeah.
kid who was actually studying gymnastics. So if you figure there's one human being in the world as a young gymnast to be able to do that properly, but apparently no, he fell. There's videos of it out there. It's really horrible, and then he went into a coma and died
Yeah,
several days later. Yeah, stupid,
it's
stupid, stupid.
it's alarming.
But when you're young, you think you live forever. When you're an old fart like me, you think you're going to die after 30 minutes of no Wi-Fi.
When you get as old as us, you beg for the sweet embrace of death.
So yesterday, Monday, so Sunday, nothing's open, right?
Yeah.
You can't get, I mean, I called a tow service on Sunday morning. I found a number and they picked up and they says, "All right, where do you want to go with your car?" And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm 300 miles from home. I'm nowhere. So she gave me, and besides, in my mind, I'm junking this car. I mean, the car, it's 12 years old, served me well. Had almost 200,000 miles on it. I had already dumped in quite a bit of money to repair the electrical system a couple years back, and just not worth it anymore,
Yeah.
right? So found a scrap yard in Roanoke, got towed there on Monday. Nicest guy did the towing. Got a couple $100 for it, for the car, for the scrap metal. Got a rental car, drove it home. So now I'm home, and we it was an interesting adventure.
Well, we're
But I
glad.
got to listen to Eagles podcasts all the way home, so I
Yeah.
was just smiling all 350 miles.
We're glad that you did make it home safe. I think that between Zach and I, that was our biggest concern. I saw that I saw
Oh
Mr.
yeah, yeah,
Matt.
I saw you were Very concerned. Very,
Yeah,
very concerned. Yeah.
I gave the little heart, you know, the little heart holding, hugging. The
Yeah, a
care.
little care emoji. Yeah, the care emoji. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
I saw that Mr. Matt Villardo had offered to come pick you up and bring you back home, and and I thought to myself, and I think I even said something out loud. I said, that's really nice of Matt, because it wouldn't have been me. Not to say that I would have abandoned you on the side of the road, but if I had been anywhere close, of course, yeah, I would absolutely, if I'd been on my way, or whatever. But I got to think about it. I was like, Bill's an adult, he can take care of this. There's some survival skills in there somewhere.
You would think
I'm pretty sure.
you would think so. You
S-
would think so. Like if it was your kid, you would do
Yeah,
it without thinking about
yeah,
it.
of course.
If you were a Matt Bellardo on the side of the road, I'd be like, yeah, you're a grown ass man. You
Yeah,
got a cell phone, figure it out. So
yeah. My hope is that Matt is potentially watching this, and all I've got to say to Matt is, Matt, you got to have more to do than offering to go pick up Bill in Virginia. There's got to be more going on.
I almost wanted to say, come on, let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Just teach him a lesson.
Bill and Matt road trip. The
He's like
2000
5 hours into
2020.
his trip, he's cursing my name. He's like, well.
It's the 2020s version of
So
planes,
I'm in the
trains, and
hunt for a new
automobiles.
car, and yeah. So I'm in the hunt for a new car. Any recommendations?
I don't know. I've been driving
Thinking
the
of getting a
same.
Cybertruck.
Oh God. Well, kudos. No, I think I've been driving the same Honda Element since 2007, and it's approaching the
Wow.
300,000 mile mark. But this is the
Wow.
reason that I drive this. The reason that I continue to drive it is because, one, it's simple to work on. It's got a manual transmission, which means I don't have to worry about the fraughts of having an automatic transmission and transmission fluid and oil change, those sort of whatever. I just change the oil, the air filters, and I've had to replace the clutch a couple times. So I will drive my Honda Element until the day that it dies, which, as long as I continue to do all the maintenance on it, shouldn't be, it shouldn't be too soon. But
Well, my blessing to you is when it does die, I hope it's not in Natural Bridge, Virginia, because you would still be there today, and there'd be bones of Garrett,
yeah.
stuck to the steering whel.
You I mean, it's kind of like we've got my sense of survival has I think become, it's probably not as in tuned as it was when I was in my early 20s, because I used to go camping with the dog, where we'd just go hiking up on the Appalachian Trail without,
Yeah.
we'd just take off on a Friday. Literally fell down the trail trying to chase off the dog one time and broke my leg. Had to crawl off of the trail onto the highway that the trail last crossed, in order to flag somebody down to take me back to my car, where I then drove my car to the nearest clinic because my leg was broken. So, those are
Wow. So I tell
those.
you, the difference is when you hit your mid 50s, death becomes a not so bad option. It's like your survival skills are battling with, I've had a good life. It's time to go. Tell
This
my
is
kids
it.
and wife I love them. Like, this is it. The survivor skills are a little less as you get into your 50s.
Well, Bill, if this had been the moment you checked out, you would have left us in a world, where we now have the Gulf of America as our
Yeah.
as our new our previous Gulf of Mexico is now Gulf of America according to maps. Um, and I the way that it got announced, Donald Trump had to proclaim that it was Gulf of America Day. Like, that's I never has that occurred to me that we needed a day to celebrate, whether it's the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America. I don't know. I'm in shock. I'm in shock.
Well, people are celebrating it online, let me tell you.
Oh, for sure.
So while, prices of everything have skyrocketed just in a month. I mean, they skyrocketed what took Biden 4 years, under his command to rise. Trump got the same price increase in a month.
Yeah.
Loving the inflation report that's gonna come out. Airplanes are still crashing into each other. Did you see where 2 planes crashed into each other and there's a
Uh,
person dead in an airport
yeah.
recently? So planes are falling out of the sky and crashing into each other. Everything is a mess, and yet I'm seeing on my timeline that this is a wonderful thing that Trump did, renaming the Gulf of Mexico, and how wonderful it is to have a president who loves our country. And I was like, "Oh, really? Really? This is what you're prioritizing over basic things like safety and prices and
Yeah.
health and, the fundamentals."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'll just say what I noticed this morning is that the Gulf of Mexico is still named the Gulf of Mexico in Apple Maps. That Google
Uh,
Maps has switched, and apparently, if you are outside the United States, what I'm seeing on posts from people around the country, around the world, basically, is that anywhere outside of the United States of America is where you will continue to see the Gulf of Mexico rather than the Gulf of America. Um, which I'm still a little odded out by the fact that the name change that they wanted was Gulf of America. Now it's the North American continent. I get it, but I, our country isn't. Our country is called the United States of America. Just happens to be because we are on the North American continent. We are in the America. We are in the Western Hemisphere with the American continents. So of America is not technically part of the name of the United States. So why didn't the Gulf get named Gulf of the United States? I think it's
I
a
don't
valid
know.
question.
I'm wondering, why are there children dying all over the world because that same person froze funding for aid programs,
Yeah,
in Africa and Asia and so on, and just cut them off. No warning, no wind down, no plan B, just funding stopped, you're done.
yeah,
And how that has helped you or me? How that has that increased decreased your taxes? Has that made prices cheaper anywhere? No, all it did was kill people, kill human beings. And people are reveling in it, and people are paying attention to this Gulf shit. Uh,
I think
no, we
one of
got to
the other
prioritize what we worry about.
yeah, one of the other things that really bothers me about the USAID thing, with us no longer being part of the sane world when it comes to helping other countries with things like in Africa, fighting back the spread of HIV and AIDS across, excuse me, across Africa. Um, those initiatives for those people in those countries, where USAID is now going to be leaving a gap, is going to be filled in, and it's not going to be by the United States. It's going to be filled in by China, and it's going to be filled in by Russia. So all this has done is basically allowed for new alliances to potentially be formed between uh, African countries and Asian countries that are now going to be getting their support from China and from Russia, where United States was the one that was providing the support to try and help the people of these countries. So basically, our departure from that is, again, we continue to see our country pulling away from what is the this we're allowing China and Russia, two communist countries, to basically become the saviors for these people, and the spread of
First of all, I
this.
get China doing it.
Sure.
Where does Russia have 1 ruble left for this type of initiative? I mean,
If they think that they can get some natural resources out of Africa, which is probably one of the most resource rich continents on the planet,
yeah.
between Canada and Greenland and Africa, those are those that is ultimately their end goal, is the natural resources, and being able to alienate the United States and force us out, and be able to move in and say, look, we'll build infrastructure, we'll build schools, we'll build highways, we'll build roads, you'll get your own little Caesars. um, this is that essentially that's what all this is going to leave, is basically the United States is going to be in the weakest position we've ever been in, the history of the country.
We are definitely going to be repairing this damage for decades to come.
Yeah.
I mean, I never knew one person can do so much damage in such a short amount of time.
Yeah. And on that bombshell, I guess we'll wrap it up
Mm.
so that we can we
So I go
Bill,
back to bed.
are you going to go back to bed? Are you taking off some time?
No, no, I've got to work today, so
Yeah.
I got to brush myself up, and life somehow does not care that I had a disastrous weekend. But you know what? Once the Eagles did win that very close and competitive Super Bowl, life has appeared a little sweeter.
Yeah.
Monday was just sunshine and butterflies all the way home. Everything went the way it was supposed to. I am concerned though about American exceptionalism, and I tell you why. So I'm stuck in this little town, but there are just fundamentals of life in America that I think are starting to crumble. I mean, you got my story about the insurance company,
Yeah.
right? And I think if you rolled back, 20 years, insurance companies actually tried to work to earn your business,
Yep.
car insurance, let's say. I'm not talking medical insurance. That's a different world altogether. But car insurance really tried to fight for customer service. Farmers could give an F, that they really could care less. Then I go to and all that's there where I was in walking distance. There was a diner about a mile down the road, Pink Cadillac. It's an Elvis themed quaint diner. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Decent reviews online. I walk there on Sunday afternoon. I get seated. They give me menu and utensils, maybe four other tables being served. Wasn't busy at all. And Barrett, I sat there for a half hour, not seeing a single person come to my table since.
Wow.
No drink order, no nothing. Like they're walking around, but I was a ghost, just completely forgotten about. And I stayed there for a half hour just out of curiosity. How long can I sit here? What's the record? An hour, 3 hours, before the service talks to me. And again, this is a small diner. It
Yeah.
wasn't like it was an Applebee's and I just got forgotten about. It's kind of obvious I'm sitting there. And then finally, hunger got the best of me, and I just got up and left. I was like, I got to
Goodness.
eat. I'm starving. So I end up at a little convenience store across from the motel, and they've got that display of hot sandwiches. There's like hamburgers and fries and egg and cheese sandwiches, and I
Yep.
so
Yep.
wanted one, but there's no labeling. It's just saran wrap around sandwiches in a little heater, right? And
Yeah.
the fries have been sitting out in a little heater. So I was like, "Oh, do I really want to eat a shit biscuit right now? Or do I want to? What am I going to do? Am I going to be having dysentery for the next 3 days?" So I'm walking around this convenience store more, and there was in the refrigerated section there was some milk, and there was expired milk from last week in there, from 5 days ago, and I was like, "This place is not giving me confidence." So I get some ramen noodles. I'll just, ramen noodles are safe. I got some other junk food and a drink. And I let the cashier lady know, says, "Hey, you know what? I really wanted some of these hot sandwiches, but I don't trust it." She says, "Oh, we make them fresh daily. We make them fresh daily." I go, "But there's no labels on them. There's no stickers. There's no dates. How do I know they haven't been sitting there for 5 years? And by the way, you have expired milk in the fridge."
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, it's just that one carton." Like, so she's trying to downplay the problem. Meanwhile, she's admitting she knew
Yeah.
that there was expired milk sitting in that fridge, consciously knew and left it there. So I'm thinking, where is the fundamentals of just doing your job between the diner and this convenience store and the insurance company? I was feeling pretty down on just America, business, and society in general,
Yeah.
because the fundamentals are starting to crumble. And it's not something I think you can legislate, but I think you have found profit over profit process
Yeah.
has taken hold.
Yeah.
Corner cutting down to the part where now businesses are unsustainable.
And I don't even know what the catalyst is going to be before people recognize that we've taken such a turn. I mean, just you look at like your example there, but like in we have we've noticed in Lexington that traffic has become increasingly worse and worse. It's not just because of the volume, but it's also because of um, people's uh, ignoring traffic signals. You have there are more and more incidents occurring because people just believe that, oh well, it's turning yellow, or I'm it's turning yellow to red, and I've always had plenty of time to go underneath. Nothing's ever happened before. People are taking different risks now that I don't know if it's because they believe that they're in a better place now, that America has found its direction towards greatness or whatever, the golden age. But it seems like people are being more frivolous with the the rights that they think they have now. I'm seeing more and more people make comments that ultimately, within the last few years, I think that they probably would have held to themselves, just because, afraid of backlash. Now nobody's afraid of backlash anymore. I, looking at comments that people make during our lives, sometimes it's just, or stuff that we post, I'm dumbfounded by, again, the cognitive dissonance between what was acceptable and what now. That line is gone. And I think that will wind up relating to how well people do their jobs. And we're not going to see the cost of living increases to our salaries. That's not going to happen. We're not going to have
No.
we're going to have insurance companies raising premiums because they can, and there's no one to stop them. Gas prices are going to go up, because if we start pumping out more and more oil, and this is absolutely going to be the result. If we go into this process of drill baby drill, and we're drilling up more oil, but we don't have the refineries to actually process that oil into the products that we need out of it, then those companies that are pulling that oil are going to wind up having to come up with storage facilities to build and store that oil before it can be refined, which they're not going to pay for the cost of that. They're going to give that cost to us. So this drill baby drill is not going to have the effect they think it's going to have. Drill as much as we can refine. That's the I just drill as much as we can refine. That's all we need. Sorry.
Well, I'll leave you on one last thought because I know we got to wrap up here. But with this administration taking down all the websites and scrubbing data from the NIH and CDC and just rewriting a whole bunch of crap, you're not going to be able to trust any report that comes out of this
Yeah.
administration over the next 4 years, because all independence of these the departments are gone. The department independence is gone. And so the infrastructure across our nation will be crumbling. Prices could be skyrocketing, and you're going to see a propaganda report saying unemployment is down to 0.5%, and everybody is happy, and prices are great and inflation is zero, when you and I are living the reality. But because we are now isolated from the larger picture, there won't be any conversation about it. It'll
Yeah.
just be, individual grumbling, and that's where we're headed. So you can't believe a single thing that's going to come out of this administration. They've already proven that they are ready, willing, and able to disseminate lies to further their cause.
Yeah. Yeah. All I'll say is, to wrap this up, is the time has come to that for anyone that finds that this behavior coming out of the White House is acceptable, um, they really need to ask themselves, which they might not, but they need to ask themselves, would I find this to be appropriate behavior if it were Kamala Harris, or if it was Joe Biden, if it was
Yeah.
Obama? And I think that if they were honestly able to take a look at it, they would say, you know what, I'm only accepting it because it's Donald Trump. I am only okay with this because it's Donald Trump. If it was Kamala Harris firing all of 18 of the inspectors general, I'd be up in arms. But because it's Trump, I'm okay with it. So, that's the hypocrisy that gets under my nerves the most. All right, Bill. Well, thank you very much. We're glad that you made it home safely. Happy for your Philadelphia Eagles, and the fact that
Yeah.
the Eagles made it. The Philadelphia made it through the winning of a Super Bowl without burning the city to the ground. Uh, you know, I guess we'll just have to wait for Boston to win a World Series maybe this year to see another American city light light the fires. You can find
Yeah.
Bill. You can find Bill, Political Bill SC, across all social media. You can find me across all social media at Barrett Gruber. This is the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll do it again here in a couple days. Bill, you have a terrific day. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Barrett.
Oh, very good. I am glad that that you made it home safely and that you were able to join me.